One of the rules of writing that cannot be completely ignored is the rule that says, write what you know. That rule is easy to follow when it comes to nonfiction works. You just tell a story, especially, like autobiographical. You just tell the story, put it in your own words, tell what happened, and it comes a little bit, you can't break the rule, but you can stretch it really far. And that's what's important, is being able to stretch it convincingly. When you get to fiction, like, if you're like me, I live in Oklahoma. I've only been in New York City once. If I use New York City as the setting in one of my fiction stories, if I use that as a setting, I've got to do a lot of research. Because otherwise it won't be convincing and I can't pull it off. It would be easier for me to write something I know, something set in the Midwest somewhere. If it's a fictional Oklahoma City, that's fine. But if it's going to be a real city, I've got to know it, And the same would be true for everybody. This rule becomes even more stretched when it comes to like science fiction fantasy. There have never been in recorded history magicians, wizards, vampires that we know of. I mean, it's probably, maybe there are, but they're not really to know of. So how can we write about those things if they aren't what we know? Well, we put our human characteristics in them. So what we know is how we feel, how we would react in similar situations. We can make up characters based on common mythologies. There are a lot of books about vampires. People have written about vampires for years. We can use common mythologies and create it because we know the mythologies. We know the stories about them, so we can create something new. Now there's something else that makes me think of, there's nothing new under the sun. It's all been done before. But what's interesting about writing books is the reason why they can only seem new is because we are not straight regurgitating things. We are mixing or creating new based on those, and maybe it's not completely 100% new, but it's something. An example of this, I started writing a story a long time ago. 8th grade I started writing the story, and writing it for a while. Then Harry Potter came out, and there are similarities, orphaned kid, big live-in school, like Hogwarts, because there's nothing new under the sun. It's a type of story. So, I mean, we put our life in it. If it's convincing, it's okay. If it's convincing and it seems original, then it is as original as it's gonna be.